morning, and welcome to 60 Yogic Minutes with me, Kristen Harris. It is a gloomy Thursday morning here in Pittman. I'm here in the studio by myself, enjoying some study time, getting ready for this class today. And so the past couple weeks we've been talking about the yamas, and we started with ahimsa, nonviolence, and we moved into satya, which is truth, and asteya. And now today's practice is going to focus on the last two yamas. I like to bring these two together because I feel like they work so well in tandem. They are brahmacharya and aparigraha. Brahmacharya meaning moderation. Sometimes it's referred to as celibacy, non-excess. And aparigraha is non-attachment, focusing on letting go. So I think that the reason why I like them together and the fact that I feel like they work in tandem is that, in order to practice moderation, there are things that we have to let go of in our life to be able to be in that center. And we have to really recognize what we're using excessive amounts of and then let that go to be able to come back into a space of moderation in the middle. So this is something that these two concepts of brahmacharya and aparigraha are very apparent in my own personal life right now, and some lives of others that I'm speaking to. And maybe this kind of hits with you as well, where I personally having a hard time with staying in the little, as I call it, the gushy center of balance. And it's okay, like I'm sometimes I vacillate around the little gushy center and go back and forth and hit the walls of the gushy center, but and kind of just bounce off here and there, and that's when I'm in a good space. But every once in a while there's like a little hole that moves through those balanced, gushy centered spaces, and I move into the outer reaches of the balanced space and struggle, right? So there's times in your life where you might feel like, for me, you're not enough, or you need to fill in holes where there are missing pieces with things. Sometimes those things are food. Sometimes those things are physical things that you need to go out and purchase, whether it be clothes or stuff for your house or, stuff for your kids even, and coming up with reasons why we need these things in our life, instead of checking in and saying, hey, wait, am I still in that warm, gushy center, or am I out in the ethers on either direction? So, the practice of brahmacharya can help us in a lot of ways. And a really great way to do that is through, I'm going to use the word celibacy, but with an abstinence. And these are both not meaning necessarily sexually. It more means in celibacy and abstinence with things that you are using in excess, right? So like right now, for the next couple of days at least, I'm not on social media. I haven't been on social media for was today the 29th, so 29 days, and it's been really great. But with that, it comes with me noticing where I'm replacing social media in my life and what role it was filling for me in a lot of ways, apparently unbeknownst to me until about an hour ago when I was prepping for class. It was really filling a role for me of feeling like I was worth something, and without showing and being able to have an outlet to express that, I don't have that worthy feeling. And I mean, it's not like I really always have that worthy feeling. It's just that right now it's very apparent that it's not there. The light is flashing on the worthy feeling. And this isn't to get attention or anything like that. It's just to recognize and maybe like reflect within yourself and say, if you were to step away from something and become celibate and abstinent in that specific thing, there's going to be some stuff that's going to pop up. And what does that bring for you? I've also noticed that within my own life, because I'm not on social media, I am replacing. So I could be replacing with things that I'm purchasing, or sometimes it happens with food, or it winds up being deprivation in all areas. So I only recommend becoming abstinent and celibate in one thing at a time, so you can see where the replacing happens. And also, it could make you live in a very uncomfortable place with the people in your household if you are celibate from every single thing that you do, all of your habits. So just be mindful of that. But recognizing that instead of the filling in those holes, recognizing that I don't necessarily need those holes filled because they aren't actually there. Because if I allow it to happen, I can fill those holes, or I can see the imaginary holes being filled up by sacredness and connection to source. And that doesn't mean go to church, unless that's what that means for you. It doesn't mean pray. It doesn't mean any of those things. It could simply just mean I need to take a walk in the woods, or a dip in the ocean, or listen to music that I don't often listen to. Reconnecting into that source that gives you that recognition of who you are and what you're worth. Because when we are able to practice moderation, it helps us, we're able to see that we're perfectly wonderful as we are, and we don't need these excess outside things to be able to continue on with our day-to-day life. And that's where our parigraha comes in, is to practice that, use the brahmacharya and practice the celibacy. And within that, you're letting go of attachment to things that you don't need. It might be, even like your morning coffee. Like, I hear so many people say, like, oh, I love my coffee, but it also, like, I have agita, or, something else happens, or whatever. Maybe coffee needs to be released now, and you need to become celibate from coffee so that you can see where your excesses are happening. Maybe coffee's just like the simplest thing, but it could also be, maybe you have addiction issues, or maybe it is social media, your phone, maybe it's, food or other stuff. And none of that's judgment. Like, I've gone through everything that I've just said on my own, and I continue to work with that every day. But, just working with the idea of letting go of things. I call this like the two Marie Kondo yamas here, whereas it's like, do they bring you joy? Does this bring you joy? And it's not just like, does this shirt bring you joy? It's like, does this behavior bring you joy? Does it not? So then let's figure out a way to let that go. It could be tangible things that you need to release. Maybe you're clogged up. Or you go inside the mind and see what's inside of the little storage boxes. Are we holding on to old patterns, old memories, old things that are just, we're beating dead horses that don't really need to be beaten and could really obviously be buried. So having willingness to alleviate your own suffering. That's what these two things are. So, we work on that by, number one, starting with ahimsa. We have compassion for ourselves. Number two, stepping into our truth and who we are, and why we need to be where we need to be. And then we like work on asteya, on non-stealing, non-possessiveness, providing for yourself, acknowledging your own successes, giving yourself love, give yourself, what you need, and then move into the brahmacharya and start to take away and the aparigraha and start to release out so that we can make room for who you actually are. And that's what I like about having all of these yamas and niyamas and how they can build upon themselves and how you can really use, just the yamas as a life and, a life framework, if you will. And then, starting next week, we'll talk about the niyamas and how they all work together. And they're really just a really great way to be able to reflect and check back in on who you are and what you need to check into, of self-development and self-love. So the way we're going to weave that into our practice today is throughout our practice, we're going to work only in moderation. We're not going to do anything too fast, nothing too slow. All right, so we're going to focus on that little middle gushy point in the center, and we are going to set an intention to release any thoughts that no longer serve us, which is, we're moving into this full moon cycle. On Saturday, we have this blue moon that's going to happen. We have all kinds of wonderful things happening over the weekend that are perfect times to work on release. We're in fall, we're in Vata season. There's just so much that's just pointing to let it go, maybe you've watched Frozen, I'm not really sure, but so hashtag what would Elsa do? She would let it go, and that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to focus on keeping our body in moderation through our practice, and we are going to focus on letting go any thoughts that no longer serve. So with that said, another way into, since this is a very balanced type focused practice today, we're going to practice alternate nostril breath, or nadi shodhana, and we're going to start our practice in that way. So this is a practice, I think we may have done this before, I can't remember, but I just think it's a really great practice for this this lesson, if you will, because it helps us to bring into the center, it helps us to find moderation and be able to focus in the middle. So with Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breath, there's two ways you can do it. If you are not comfortable with touching your nose, or you're in a place where you're wearing a mask and the mask is stopping you from being able to touch your nose, you can always open your hands and give your eyes a quick close, or you can just gaze softly at the floor. So alternate nostril breath literally means you're going to inhale through one side of your nose and exhale through the other side. Inhale through that same side you exhaled from, and then exhale through the opposite side. And then we continue that process for 5 minutes. Okay, we're going to practice for 5 minutes. If at any point through this practice, I'm going to just say this now before I continue instruction, if at any point through this practice you feel uncomfortable, dizzy, nauseous, anything outside of like, whoa, this is great, take a second, come back to a normal breath, take your hands off of your face or off of your lap, bring your hands down to the sides, ground your palms into the earth, and start to breathe regularly, normally. And then if it feels comfortable, rejoin. But don't rejoin unless it actually, you feel like it's going to be okay. This is where we find moderation, where we let go of the outcome and we just stay focused in the center. And we worry about where we are right now. We don't even worry about anything. We just focus on where we are right now, okay? So with that, we're going to start with we're just going to show you this version of it. So both hands are open to represent the nostrils both being open. We're going to close the left, this is my left side, so we're going to close the left side palm, keep the right hand open, and then inhale. You're going to close both palms, you're going to suspend the breath at the top for 1 beat, and then exhale by opening the left palm. Keep the left palm open, inhale. Close the left palm, open the right palm, exhale. Keep the right palm open, inhale. Close the right palm, open the left palm, exhale. Inhale through the same nostril. Close, open right, exhale. And that's how we do it with open hands. This is really helpful if you're claustrophobic also, as well as wearing a mask or not being able to or want to touch your face. So that's alternate nostril breath, as I like to call it. This one is, we take, ordinarily you would use your thumb and your ring finger and your pinky finger, I'm sorry, your ring finger and your ring finger and your pinky finger to close your nose. I also, this can sometimes feel uncomfortable for me, so I just worry about how my nose and my finger placement is. Personally, I felt like, and I know that there's, mudra that goes along with this that can up level this a little bit, but mudra meaning hand posture. But for me personally, the practice is more important than the posture. So I want to make sure that I'm doing the practice and then I worry about what the mudra is later. Okay, so for our purposes here, I'm just going to give you the basic idea of how it looks. So you're going to close off your left nostril and inhale through your right. Close your right. Exhale left. Inhale. Close. Exhale. Inhale right. Close. Exhale. And we'll do that for 5 minutes. So allow yourself to come into your comfortable seat wherever you are. Don't worry about distractions in the room. We're going to let any of that go, and we're just going to imagine that we have this little bubble of protection around us that we're going to stay inside of, our bubble of moderation. Palms can come down to your knees. If you're going to open palm this, you can keep your hands up. If not, place your hands down and ground just for a moment, because we will bring the right hand up to the face. And you can close your eyes if that feels comfortable. I'm going to go ahead and set this timer here so that we can do this. And just take a few breaths in through the nose. Release out through the mouth. Inhale again. Exhale. Whenever you're ready, we will begin. Inhale. Close. Exhale. Inhale. Close. Right exhale. Inhale right. Close. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close, exhale, right. Inhale, or close, inhale, right, sorry. Close, exhale, left. Inhale, left. Close, exhale, right. Inhale, right. Close, exhale, left. Inhale, left. Close, exhale, right. Continue breathing on your own rhythm and pattern. Inhaling, holding, and exhaling. After your last round, the last time on your left side, exhale all the breath out. Release your hands from your face. If your palms are facing up, bring them down to the knees. And then everyone bring their hands down to the sides. Keep your gaze low. Notice any differences from when you came to your mat and now. As you take your next breath, sit back slightly and then change your position wherever you are. If you're in a cross-legged already, switch to have the opposite leg in the front. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Inhale, lift the arms up to the sky, reach tall. As you exhale, hinge at the waist and fold down forward. Let your fingers touch down to the mat as your chin draws into your chest. And breathe fully in and out through your nose. Noticing how your nostrils feel here. As you inhale, lift and sweep your fingers up toward the sky. You can lift your gaze, lift your eyes out if you'd like to as well. And then as you exhale, float your palms down to the sides. Lift your chin up toward the sky. Lift your gaze and your heart. As you exhale, bring your shoulders in toward your cheeks. Bring your chin in toward your chest. Round your spine inward. Inhale, lift your head and heart up toward the sky. Exhale, round, bring your chin in towards your chest. Inhale, roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Bring your hands to your knees. On the next breath, we're going to move through a little Sufi grind here. So bring your left shoulder towards your left knee. Heart sweeps forward. Right shoulder toward the right knee. Reach the shoulders back, square across the back of the mat, and then toward the left side. Continuing to make a circle with your belly as if you're churning and stirring a pot of molasses. So nice and slow and easy. Remember, this practice is all about moderation. Don't worry about whether or not you're keeping up. This isn't about keeping up. This is about staying in your lane and in your own moderation. If you're usually someone who moves very, very quickly, slow it down. If you're usually someone who moves very, very slowly, speed it up just a tiny bit. It's like we're taking that tortoise and the hare and we're combining them into one animal. Take your time and breathe. Next time you're back in center, switch direction. All part of balance is moving in both directions equal and at the same amount of time. So we want to make sure we're giving both sides the same amount of attention and love. As you take your remaining breaths, slow down if you have sped up and come back to neutral. Lift your heart forward and the crown of your head to the sky as your shoulders drop back and away from your ears. On the next breath, press your hands in and we're going to switch the leg that is in the front. So again, balance wherever you are. Give equal and opposite love to both sides. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, hinge at your waist and fold down. Let your fingers reach in front of you as your hips pull back. And just find that balance in your body. As you take your next breath, inhale, lift the fingers up to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands down to your sides and we'll sweep and rise into table. So once we're in table here, we're going to make sure our bones are all balanced on the earth, stacked on top of each other. We're going to keep the toes curled under here today just to give a little extra balance in the body. And the center of our belly, right above our navel center and right below our sternum, is our solar plexus. And that's where we're going to focus our energy and attention right now. That's where we find our balance space. That's kind of like the little fine point of balance in the middle of our body. As you inhale, you're going to lower your belly, lift your eyes, gaze toward the sky. As you exhale, round your spine, draw your chin to your chest, tuck your hips in toward your center. Inhale, lower your belly, lift your eyes, gaze up. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest, come back to cat pose, but then lift your knees and hinge back into downward facing dog. If you can pedal your heels, if that feels okay, if you want to press your fingers in and roll your shoulders back, let your elbow creases face up towards your fingers. As you take your next breath and we settle into down dog for 5 breaths, allow yourself the space to release. Remember, not only are we finding balance, but the way we're finding that balance is in letting go of attachments. Letting go of ideas that no longer serve us and being real honest about what is not working. Watch the thoughts. Notice what we're grasping onto and see if we can let it go. On the next breath, we're going to inhale and begin to step your feet toward your hands, and maybe your hands meet your feet in the middle. As you inhale, slowly and with intention, begin to roll your shoulders back, bend your knees maybe to lift your heart up toward the sky. Chin lifts last. Find yourself in a nice mountain pose here, standing at the top or the middle of your mat. Shoulders are rolled back and away from the ears. This is where we find our standing balance here with both feet on the ground. Keep your navel tucked towards your spine. And then as you inhale, lift your fingers up to the sky. As you exhale, hinge down at your waist and fold forward. Inhale, press your palms to your shins. Look out to the horizon halfway. Exhale, fold down, and we're going to plant the fingers and step the left foot back. I'm going to just reorganize myself here so you can see me. So we're in a nice low lunge here. We're going to keep the right knee stacked over the right ankle and breathe. Remember, in this practice, we are releasing and balancing. So let go of the need to be wherever you think you need to be, and just stay in the center. Next breath plants the left hand onto the mat as the right hand lifts up to the sky. The exhale takes the right hand down to the earth. We're going to plant both palms into the mat, and we're going to step right back to downward facing dog. And we're going to do it with intentional movement. Not too fast, not too slow. We're finding those Goldilocks spaces throughout our entire practice. Just right. On the next breath, the feet and hands meet wherever that happens. Inhale, and we're going to roll up again. Bend the knees, roll the shoulders back and away. Palms face forward, come back to mountain pose. Tuck your navel towards your spine. Remember, this is our space of balance. Right here, right in that soft little gushy spot. We like it soft and gushy. It feels nice. As you inhale, lift your arms up. As you exhale, hinge down and fold forward. Inhale, look out to the horizon halfway. Exhale, fold down. This time, right foot steps back. Rearrange, readjust. Let go of the idea that you have to be perfect the second you walk into the pose. Let the pose find you. You know, energetically, just be wherever you are. And then sort of move the energy around to let it settle. Check in with the mind. As you take your next breath, plant the right hand into the mat. Inhale, lift the left hand up to the sky. Exhale, drop the left hand down. Plant the palms in. Take the left foot. Step it back and find your way back to downward facing dog. Let your head hang heavy. And breathe. As you take your next breath, walk, step, float, hop, bring your feet towards your hands. Inhale, roll yourself up. Shoulders roll back and away from the ears. Make any wardrobe adjustments that you need or let go of that and just stay focused on your body. It's not my day to do that, so it's fine. As you take your next breath, we're going to inhale, lift the arms to the sky. Interlace the fingers overhead, press the palms up into the air, open the heart wide. As you exhale, release the hands down to your side and let go. As we move into tree pose here, we're gonna make sure we're close to the front of our mat so we have enough space. We're gonna move this tree, we're gonna transplant it, propagate it a little bit. So as you take your next breath, you're gonna step firmly into your right foot, lift and lower, open and expand those toes. Make that foot look super weird, planted on that earth. Bring your hands to your hips. And then as you're ready, we're gonna take this left foot and either bring it to the top of the foot, the ankle, the calf, or maybe today, we move it into the thigh. Maybe not. Not today, maybe. And then I'm gonna bring my hands to my heart. Maybe that feels good for you as well, or maybe the hips feel okay. Seems as if my body is struggling with a little bit of balance today. Wonder how yours is doing. Just notice it. I'm going to detach from, or have non-attachment from the stories in my mind about that. Let go of the ideas of why I'm not balancing, because that just takes me off into an idea that is most likely untrue. So as you take your next breath, I'm going to just rotate my own rotation here so that you can see. We're going to come from this tree pose, bring our hands to our hips for balance, and then step this left foot back behind. We're going to plant that left foot down at 90 degrees, so that way the hips are open and our shoulders are rolled out as we make our way into a warrior two. So this is the ultimate balance here. We want to have nice equal weight distribution on both legs. Arms are reaching out to the sides, palms face down toward the floor, coming from the center, the heart space, right in this middle line of the body. Take a deep breath in, exhale out. Arms are expansive and open. Lift and lower, adjust, flip, swivel, whatever works to get you into this nice equal space. And then as you take your next breath, we're going to bring this forearm down just above the knee. We're going to take the left hand up to the sky. Now, this is where we check into our moderation. If you ordinarily are like, I'm going all the way down, I'm going to bring this back, and I'm going to bind, maybe instead of going as far as you possibly can, stay in the middle a little bit. Notice the scenery in a new space without having to strive for more all the time. Appreciate the moment of where you're in. So let's just stay with this forearm on the thigh. Keep the left hand lifted to the sky and pause here. Engage different muscles. Bring the belly up and towards your back. You know, sometimes it's really easy to just not even use the belly because we're planting our hand into the earth. But if we really keep this free and open, we can use the muscles in the belly to stay engaged and lifted. Keep your gaze to the sky or out or down. Change your perspective. As you take your next breath, this left palm is going to flip down. We're going to flip the right palm up to the sky, reach up. And then as you exhale, come back to warrior two. And then just for fun, we'll bring our hands to our hips, roll our shoulders toward the front of the mat, and then lift off slightly. I'm a little wider than I'd like to be for this, but we're going to take the left foot, step it up a tiny bit, and then bring it back into tree pose. Maybe the arms lift up to the sky. Notice the difference between the balance the first time and the balance the second time. Are you less involved in the head and more involved in the body? As you take your next breath, release the hands down, let it all go, shake it all out. All right, grab some water if you need it, or whatever you need to continue on. Everything in moderation. All right, as you take your next breath, we'll find tree on the opposite side. So this time, the left foot is going to plant. I'm going to start my way this way so that I can move fluidly. You can see that. So I'm really lifting my toes. I'm expanding them out and then lower them down on the floor. I'm going to take my right foot and bring it either to the top of the foot, to the ankle, to the calf or the thigh. My hands are still at my hips because I'm trying not to always go to the fullest expression. I'm staying focused on the fact that it's okay, that I can find full expression wherever I am. And then as you exhale, take this right foot and release it from your thighs. Step it back behind you. Sweep the arms open and make your way back into Warrior Two on the other side. Engage your belly towards your spine. Remember, we're using this sweet spot in the middle here for our focus point for our whole practice. Everything we do, not just balancing poses, comes from this middle point. This is where all balance can happen. It's the bridge between the top and the bottom. It's everything comes together here. So really focus here, less on feet, more on belly. Reach the arms long. As you exhale, bend the elbow, bring the forearm down. So not pressing in, staying elevated. Lift the right hand up. On the next breath, inhale, rise up, flip the front palm, lift your gaze to your fingers at the sky. As you exhale, bring your hands back to Warrior Two. And then bring your hands to your heart. And we're going to try to step this foot up a tiny bit. And then bring the right foot back to the space for tree. Notice your balances and the differences between first time, second time, first side, second side. Without comparing and judging, just noticing. As you exhale, bring your hands down, your feet down, and release from that posture. Nice job. All right. As we take our next breath, we're going to come back to the top of the mat. Come back to our mountain pose. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, hinge at the waist and fold. Inhale, look up and out halfway. Exhale, fold down. You can plant your palms and we'll step right back to downward facing dog. Taking our last down dog of our practice. Let your shoulders lift to the sky. Exhale, keep your gaze between your toes. And then as you take your next breath, drop down onto your knees. Bring your toes together, knees wide, and bring your hips back towards your heels as your fingers reach out in front and melt your heart toward the floor for child's pose. As you take your next breath, inhale, lift yourself back up. And then we're going to move down onto our belly. As you are on your belly, you're going to bring your arms down to your sides, palms face down toward the floor. We're going to make our way into a locust pose today. So we're going to bring our hands back toward our body. We're going to start with, because we're focusing on moderation and letting go of old patterns and old stories, we're just going to lift our feet and keep our palms pressed in the mat and see how that feels for us this morning. We'll do 3 locust poses of variations. So inhale, and we're going to engage, bring your thighs together, squeeze them, pull your mula bandha up toward your heart. And then inhale, lift the legs. Keep the palms down. You can lift the heart, but keep the gaze low. Exhale, lower the legs down. Drop one cheek or the other onto the mat. Flip the palms up to the sky. Let the elbows bend slightly. Maybe even bend the knees and windshield wiper the legs. We'll do that again. Flip the palms down. Now, as you're ready, this time you can keep your palms pressed in, squeeze the thighs together. You can also inhale and just lift the hands. Notice the difference here. Maybe the wrists lift. As the legs are also up, gaze is still out and down. Exhale, lower opposite cheek down to the mat. Palms flip, elbows bend. Bend the knees, sway the legs from side to side. We'll move into locust one last time. So you can stay with your palms pressed in and lift the legs. You can lift the arms, or you can reach the arms out in front of you and create a Superman pose here. So we can reach the arms here, palms lift up, legs lift up, gaze is out and down, and breathe. As you exhale, lower your body toward the floor. Let your toes face in. And just take a few moments. You can bring your palms and stack them underneath of your face here. As you take your next breath, press your palms into the mat. Inhale, lift your head up, lift your belly up, come back in through table. And then from table, we're gonna come to sit just for a moment or two. We're gonna do our twist this way today, changing it up, changing perspective, letting go of old patterns. So we're gonna take our right hand and bring it behind us. We're gonna take our left hand across and send your gaze over your right shoulder. On the next breath, we're going to unwind and come back to center. Take a deep breath in through the nose, bring the shoulders to the ears. Exhale, drop them back and down. We're going to take the left hand behind and bring the right hand across. Send your gaze over your shoulder. As you take your next breath, unwind, come back to center, plant your hands onto your knees. Allow your eyes to close softly or gaze down. We're going to take a minute or two before we move into Shavasana. We're going to sit in a meditative place. We're going to reflect on our practice and reflect on the ideas of a parigraha and brahmacharya and recognize how we just become witness of who we are and what we do. Reflect on what we can do for the rest of our day, the rest of our practice, the rest of our week, month, year, life, and what we can do to find balance and moderation, how we can find compassion for that, what our truth is within that, how we can give ourselves back time by being able to find moderation and non-attachment. Recognizing how all of these yamas can work with you and how you can work with them. So let yourself just settle into this comfortable seat for a few moments. Focus on your breath. Become witness. By stepping outside of the thoughts, you are no longer the thinker. Watch the thoughts as if you're watching a TV or a movie. Recognizing that you are not necessarily the character in this story. It's a perspective, any lens of someone. Whose lens is it? Is it yours? Or is it someone else's? Are there things there that you'd like to hold on to that serve you well? Are there things that serve you well that aren't necessarily good for you? Maybe it's time to release. Are there things that don't serve you well but you continue to do no matter what? Continue to watch and notice. Witness and be mindful. Take this feeling of witness and see if you can cultivate it throughout your day, week, month, year. Whatever it is, just take it one breath at a time. as you take your next breath, begin to roll your body down onto your back. You can lower the lights in your room if that feels okay. Bring your feet to the outer corners of the mat, and your palms can face down for a grounding feeling, bringing you that earthly connection once again. We'll take just a few moments here and rest today. If you can't join us for Shavasana, please just make sure you take a few minutes of rest at some point in your day. We want to integrate our practice so that way we can take it with us, that it doesn't stay on the mat and we don't forget what we've learned and what we've seen in ourselves today. So allow yourself to take that with you by giving yourself this gift of Shavasana. Lie back, listen and watch. Release all efforts and just breathe. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back to your body, to the room and the space. Make movements to wake yourself up. Tuck your knees towards your chest. And then inhale and press yourself back to a comfortable seat. Bring our hands back into heart center. And I just want to thank you for joining me, for being open to what we're doing here and how you can really use these yogic practices, not only physically on the mat, but taking this information off the mat to improve your day-to-day life, your relationships with other people and with yourself. To offer yourself all of these wonderful gifts of the yamas, and beginning next week, the niyamas. Taking this yoga philosophy and recognizing it as a way to empower and improve yourself. So thank you for being open to that. Thank you for joining me in practice. And as always, the light that I am sees and honors the light that you are. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.